Greetings, Mindcrafters, and welcome to another delightful Minecraft discussion today on all things well-being. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I am thrilled to be here today in my very cheerful office on Champlain College's campus. It's just beautiful, and if you lean, you can almost see the view. I think it'd be a glare for you, but Lake Champlain just looks very Titanic-ish. You know, a big ice, and it's absolutely beautiful. Okay, so today we're going to talk about shaking it off, the self-love stigma. Hashtag self-care is not selfish. Because here's the thing, if you think that loving yourself, if you have it in your head, even if it's this much kind of like on the back burner, we're run around by our unconscious mind. And so if you have it in your head that taking care of yourself makes you a selfish person, a bad person, narcissistic person, which is a huge, big topic. That's not what we're talking about today for sure. But selfish or shallow, or the type that's not into being a humanitarian, or just if it has like negative, bad stigma, it's going to be very difficult for you to kind of unveil the beauty of you and the uniqueness of you, because again, hashtag self-care is not selfish. There are people who certainly are selfish out in the world. We know that, right? And not all that likable. We're not talking about that. We're talking about authentically loving yourself unconditionally, the same way that you would love a partner or best friend, or maybe they're one person for you, like they are for me, and just wrapping around somebody else. So here's the thing. Reminding us all that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So right away I want to think of babies. Think of when babies are literally on the infant end, and toddlers too, but the infant end, they are sucking on their fingers, they're pulling on their toes, or pulling on everything, if you know what I mean. And babies just love themselves. They love every body part. They're not looking, walking by, a store, looking in the window saying, "Oh boy, my thighs are just looking so big. Oh my goodness, I'm just gonna have to start doing the keto diet." The babies are not in that place. Babies love everything about themselves, and they're touching everything all the time, and curious about their environment and all this, and all of that. That feeling of original worthiness. I actually did a TED talk on this. I'll put it in the link below. I just thought of it at this minute. Original worthiness. The babies just have it. They love themselves, and because they love themselves, they're able to just be open to everybody in their atmosphere. They just assume that everybody wants them because they want them, right? And then somewhere along the line, the world, in somehow, some way, often teaches us shame and guilt, and they're different, right? So, guilt, as we've talked about in some episodes before, guilt says, I did something wrong, I made a mistake, right? Whereas shame says, I am the mistake. So guilt has a job, it's an action word. It hopefully stops us from, starting vicious rumors and things like that. And even then, after that, you gotta let it go. Like, forgive yourself, do what you can to fix it, let it go. And the shame that we learn is worse. It's just the emotional equivalent, spiritual and emotional equivalent of drinking turpentine for breakfast instead of OJ. Shame is the I am a mistake, the feelings of being flawed and defective and not enough. And constantly trying to measure ourselves up against other people, and just walking around feeling like a penny waiting for change, right? And so shame is just poison, and we often spend a lot of our life minutes later on this journey, which is a good thing, to heal from all that. And first of all, we have to kind of reflect and uncover it and heal from it, to kind of get that feeling of original worthiness back. So today, again, we're talking about all of that being okay and keeping yourself filled up. And as I've mentioned, I love Oprah, as you know, and she'll say, she's had run up against people saying, oh, she's so full of herself, so full of, yeah, she's like, yeah, I am, I'm full of myself, thank you very much, in an authentic way, because we cannot give what we do not have. And in order to be able to be loving and kind, and not only that, to have access to all the good things that are waiting for us in the universe, given by the universe or source. For me, it's God, higher power, for you, whatever. We've got to love ourselves. The universe, God, source, higher power loves us, and also the universe, God, source, whoever, loves gratitude. And so when we learn to be grateful for each and every little thing that comes our way, Even if you got a 2-for-1 on pizza, saved you $2, thank you. And then there's the biggies. Thank you that I can breathe. I don't mean just like on a stay alive level. It's one of my little things. I get like irritable with colds. I think a lot of us do. I just feel claustrophobic. So the fact that I don't even have a cold right now, like, thank you. Never, and then get into like family, friends, the car's running. We all know how that is when it doesn't run. Computer works. There's never a good time for a computer or a car to not work, right? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And, and then the universe will also bring more to us. And none of that can happen if we don't love ourselves. It just can't. It's number one. And the other thing is when we authentically learn to love ourselves, which we have to keep practicing this. We have to practice self-love, because what we practice, we inevitably get good at, no matter what it is, right? Playing the violin, soccer, robbing banks, anything we practice, we get better at. Being more honest, we can practice being more honest, and lo and behold, we get more honest. We can practice being forgiving, and lo and behold, we can be more forgiving. We can practice loving ourselves, and lo and behold, we fill up with self-love. And one way to do this is to, even if it's very uncomfortable, which it is for a lot of people, because a lot of people don't like themselves. It's the truth. They just don't. They learned it, and then they kind of seek out more information to uphold their belief system. We call that confirmation bias. So anyway, look in the mirror and say, I love you. Like, I love you, Kim. I really love you. And then when you get a little bit better at it and get a little bit more comfortable with it, you can say other things to yourself. I love how you're funny. I love how you're this. You're having a good hair day. I love how compassionate you are. I love how smart you are. Ba 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 ba. And nobody has to be seeing you do this, okay? And to actually rehearse having a conversation with yourself and loving yourself, and it will get easier. Just like when we practice anything else, we get better at it, and it gets easier, because undoing all that negativity from early on takes some time, right? It took some time to get in there. It takes some time to get out. So the computer needs a reboot, and that's really how it works. So then you'll find out as you slowly, and also we talked about having the bar, do your best, not perfection. Very bad word. You're better off dropping the F-bomb than that. When you start to make progress with this, you'll notice changes in lots of parts of your life, especially relationships. The ones that are already good will get better. You'll also notice some kind of falling away from you, which is good. The negative ones will definitely fall away from you, because it shines a light on that stuff, and that gets uncomfortable for negative Nellies. When somebody's shining, with their divine, authentic self, that's powerful, and that pushes the negative Nellies away, because they're just not there yet. And the other thing is, it might not just be the negative Nellies, but some relationships also start to just fall off. They aren't necessarily negative, but they're not yet in the same place as you are. So the universe kind of naturally, has those flocking together. They're in a kind of a similar place. We talked about that. So it's kind of like, I don't want to say outgrow, because it's not like being better than anyone. It's just like you're kind of on the track to authenticity. If somebody else isn't, you're just not going to be in sync. I don't know how else to say it. And so they'll kind of fall off, and new people will also come into your life, just in a synchronous way. They'll just kind of come into your life, and they'll have stuff to offer you and you to them. So relationships get better, change, negative Nellies drop off the map, thankfully, and new ones walk in, and also jobs. Opportunity opens up, and you also hopefully start to figure out what your purpose is if you don't already know. Because staying on your purpose, all these things stem from self-love, which involves your own value and seeing your own value. And really the relationships, the jobs, the house, the kids, the dogs, goats, whatever, travel, all of it, it's not going to fall in place to live your best life until you love yourself. Loving yourself has got to be first. And also, as mentioned earlier, the only way that's going to happen is if you connect on some level with however you define it, the universe, higher power, source, God, because we are all spiritual beings having a human experience, and we are all unique. Since the beginning of time, there have not been two snowflakes that are exactly the same. I know it's cliche, but it's true. Think of that. There are close to 8 billion people on this earth right now. No two are exactly the same. You have your own purpose, your own you-ness, you're just unique and wonderful and amazing, even if you don't consciously think that, you're watching this video for a reason, okay? So start the mirror work and start to truly, authentically love yourself and shake that ridiculous stigma that gets into our heads early on, that it's something is wrong with us or shallow or whatever with loving yourself. No way. This is how to live your best life and keep, when your cup runneth over, you have then everything to give this world, everything to give the people in your life, everything to give the strangers in your life, and you walk around just having the world by the ass. It's just such a great feeling. Shake the stigma of self-love and love you first. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off my very adorable office on Champlain's campus in Burlington, Vermont. Have a mindful, self-loving day.